It's Clark and Perry
on the case.
Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry do what it takes. Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry investigate.
The activities and interests of local artists in the Windy City's finest throughout both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, Alberta. Available on TELUS, Optic TV, On Demand, VidFlex, YouTube, and more for limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.
Da-na-na-na.
One of the things that I wanted to ask was, we've talked a lot about family and just that gratefulness as well too. Who would you say are you most like in your family?
Oh, my grandma, my mom's mom.
We
are very similar people.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
We comment on it quite frequently. Yeah, she's who I get like my love of, I think, beautiful things from.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a jewelry person. I love the shine and the sparkle of things.
Yeah.
But also, like, her home is covered in flowers, and she loves she has these knickknacks that she loves, that she buys because she loves them. And I'm very similar in that way, but also just our personalities are, yeah, we are
Very
the
similar.
same person. My mom will say it's a little scary.
Yeah. So where is this grandmother based as well?
So she's in Stavely, Alberta.
Stavely, Alberta. Okay, nice.
Yeah, so it's like a teeny tiny town in between Claresholm and Nanton.
Yeah.
Off the side of the highway.
Yeah, off to the side. Okay, very interesting. So looking back at your life that you've described thus far, who or what makes you instantly light up?
Oh, I think it's those inner core people that just make me happy. Like I will see some of my friends and it's just immediate smile. Like it's just their face, who they are, just them being there.
Yeah.
I'm like that with my family as well. Like, my sister who lives very far away from me right now, but like we'll FaceTime each other, and as soon as she calls me, it's like, oh, I'm smiling because she's calling.
Yeah.
And my brother will call me, and same thing, and my parents, like, it's just like that I don't know, that tug in your heart that's like, oh, my people.
Yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
people that understand and are, I'm going to share these crazy stories with every time as well too.
Exactly.
No, that's great. So one question that I also had as well too, so we've had a chance to kind of hop to a few different discipline areas as well too, just with you growing up and all that. I'm curious to know, what makes your life purposeful in your words?
I think purposeful is an interesting way of putting it.
Yeah.
Because for me, what makes life worthwhile is doing things that make me happy.
Yeah.
So I have to be doing something creative.
Yeah.
Almost all the time. Like at least once a day, if not once a week. Like, because the act of creating is what makes me happy. And I have many different ways I funnel that, but it's what makes me happy. Or like taking time for myself and the things that I enjoy, like reading or spending time with friends, or even just vegging on the couch and watching a movie.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of fulfillment, that's what makes it fulfilling for me, is filling it with things that make me content, that make me happy.
Yeah.
I mean, on the other side of things, you know, like having a job is always nice.
Yeah.
To get paid to exist is lovely.
And sorry, not a literal sense. What
yeah.
makes you feel like your life is getting purpose out of it?
Yeah, exactly. Which is the creativeness, the things that make me happy.
That's lovely. So, and you weren't necessarily too specific with how, what kind of creation that is.
Yeah.
Is there a preference between anything?
I think it depends. Like, I am a theater artist, and so theater is something I enjoy doing with people.
Yeah.
Because I'm an actor and a director in that kind of trade, and so I can't direct myself. I'm horrible at directing myself. So it's one of those things that I need those people to work with. So if it's in a group, those are the kind of things that I thrive in. That kind of creation is lovely. On my own, it's photography. It's embroidery. I like to paint.
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn how to bookbind.
Bookbind? What's that?
Bookbinding is like the act of putting a book together. So you get, there's a way to like type, cast it. So you get the pages, you have them all typed out. Then you have to format it a specific way. And then you can either glue the pages together, sew them together. And then you make the cover out of different kind of materials.
That makes so much sense now as well too. I never would have thought that people could just, I don't know, they don't, books don't just naturally come like that.
No, they're not born that way. They're put together.
Yeah.
It's not, it is kind of like an older art form.
Yeah.
Like long time ago, if you bought a book, you would buy the naked pages. There'd be no cover on it. And you would bring it to your local bookbinder and they would bind it according to your specifications. So a lot of people, if they had their own personal library, it would be, all of them would be covered in a matching aesthetic way. Which I love and would love to do that with my own books. And so learning how to do it would be so cool.
Would you describe yourself as an aesthetic person?
Yeah, I think so. I am very much like it needs to be aesthetically pleasing if it's in my house. Like functional art, love it.
Yeah.
Love that kind of thing. If it's going to exist and have a purpose, can it be pretty?
Yeah. Can it please?
Yeah.
Can it please be pretty? To start us off, if one wish of yours could come true, what would it be?
Ooh, one wish. See, this is always there's only one.
There's only one. Can I wish for more?
Yeah.
None of that.
No wishing for more wishes. Okay.
Yeah.
So one wish, I think it would be like for time, just the time to do the art things.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have to do anything else. I just would like to live in my little creative bubble.
Yeah.
That would be my wish.
Yeah. Just to afford the time to do the things.
Absolutely.
No, that's good. I feel like a lot of people could use that. Yeah. If you could travel anywhere, because we discussed travel just earlier, if you could travel anywhere, where would you be?
I think I want to go to Ireland.
Ireland.
Yeah.
Interesting. How come?
It's a place that like far back some of my family came from.
Okay.
And we kind of hold some of their traditions still. Like I wear a clotter ring, which is from there, but it's like a my parents use it as their wedding band, but there's a lot of symbolism in it, depending on what finger it's worn on and if it's upside down or right side up. It's always been this kind of magical place because of the stories I've been told about it. So that's kind of a place I'd love to go.
Yeah, kind of on the ring. So sorry, just to delve a little bit deeper, because you can read up on the internet all the time that putting a ring on a different finger means something else. Does that come from Irish culture there, or is that?
I'm not really sure. Like for the clotter ring, for example, like if I have it on my right hand and it's upside down, it means I'm single. If it's right side up, it means I'm in a relationship.
Okay.
If it's on my left hand and on the ring finger and it's upside down, it means I'm engaged. And if it's right side up, it means I'm married. So it's like this kind of like code almost that's written into this ring.
Okay.
And it's there's like a lot
this
of
ring here, is that right?
One, yeah. So there's a lot of symbolism in it.
Wow.
The hands mean friendship, the heart means love, and the crown means loyalty.
Interesting.
Yeah. So my parents have it as their wedding band. They gave me this one when I graduated university.
Okay.
But I've had a couple other ones. My sister's going to be getting one for graduating, and then I think they're looking at getting my brother one as well. So it's just kind of a little piece of like family.
Yeah. That you can always keep around with you as well too. So the gemstone too, like I would just assume it's based off of the birthstones or anything that looks pretty.
It's an alexandrite for me, which is my birthstone, and it changes colors depending on the lighting it's in, and I adore it.
Nice. Nice. No, that's lovely. I'm glad that we touched on that. So Ireland is going to be the place to travel as well too.
That's where I'd like to go.
Do you have a secondary one as well?
Well, I am going to Costa Rica in August.
Ooh.
No. Yes, September.
Okay.
And I'm very excited about it.
Excellent. Excellent. What's bringing you to Costa Rica?
My sister is bringing me to Costa Rica. She will be finishing her term of working with the monkeys there. And so I will be going with my family for a vacation and also to like collect her and bring her home.
Excellent. Excellent. Oh, that's going to be lovely. Well, no, that sounds like wanting to travel more already. It sounds like it's already on the agenda.
Wheels are in the motion.
No, that's good. That's good. If you could meet anyone in the world, alive or deceased, who would it be? We'll get to the why after.
Yeah. Okay. Who would it be, alive or deceased? I think I would like to meet so on my mom's side, my grandma's mother.
Okay.
Is someone that I would love to meet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And why?
Why? So on my grandma's side of that family, there's been a lot of like history of like psychic kind of things. So like being able to see the dead or talk to them, or so that great grandma, for example, she didn't love crowded places because if she could look at somebody and know when and how they were going to die. And so being around a lot of people, that became kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
And she would get like, prophetic dreams and stuff like that, being able to see ghosts. And it's kind of, some of that has been passed down through different people on that side of the family. But I think she just seems such an interesting person where a lot of that kind of culminated. And from my grandma's descriptions of her, she seems like a lovely kind of like jovial, funny kind of person.
Yeah.
That would be a fun time to hang out with.
Yeah, I imagine it would be. Now, if you're comfortable discussing it as well too, do you consider yourself a spiritual person?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like I don't really have like a title in terms of like a religion that I affiliate myself with. But I definitely, I think spiritual is probably the best. I believe that there's something there, and I have different ways of interacting that with myself. But I just don't have a name for it. There's something, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, again, it speaks more to your openness as well too, of just being able to kind of stick out the feelers and see what actually sticks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What have you found that kind of sticks when it comes to your own individual spirituality?
So I'm big on the tarot cards.
Yeah.
I love tarot cards. I also have a pendulum that I carry around in my pocket at all times.
Yeah.
And it's the third one I've had in my life, but it sometimes it's just nice to fiddle with, and other times it's like, I really don't know what I'm about to do. I need a yes or a no answer. So I'm going to just ask and see what comes up. And then I also just like, it's not praying, but I like talk to the universe. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of talk to yourself, put it out there.
Yeah.
And try to see if you can...
And see if it manifests, right?
Exactly. Manifestation is a great word for it.
Well, and I think it's really great, too, that you mentioned kind of dealing with your anxiety. You kind of talk it out sometimes as well, too. You literally have to kind of do that because your brain isn't talking it out.
No, it's hiding it.
It's hiding
not helpful.
It's trying to go into the fight or flight mode type thing, and it points fingers. You really need to just talk it out.
Yeah, logic it out, and if I do it out loud, it makes more sense than fighting in my head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's an important tool too. No, that's very good. So what was one of the best pieces of advice that you've been given?
Oh, best piece of advice that I've been given is it's from my dad.
Yeah.
And it's keep your stick on the ice. He's a hockey guy.
Okay.
So, but for what that means to me is just like if it's important, just keep going. Like just keep trying.
Yeah.
You don't have to be good at it, but just keep your stick on the ice. Yeah.
When have you found that piece of advice has stuck with you or been the most important?
So I think I use it quite frequently, especially in my artistic career, because the art world, it doesn't matter what part of it you're in, you get a lot of rejection. It's part of it is people saying yes or no to you and the things that you've created, which can kind of feel like an extension of you. So it's just a way to be like, okay, well, this person said no. Just keep trying. Like just keep going. If it's important to you, if you think that this thing is good, stick with it. Yeah.
And also one of those pieces too, don't put all the eggs in one basket. Like there is going to be that opportunity and there's going to be that fact of rejection as well too.
Absolutely.
And for a multitude of different reasons that you could spend ages and ages worrying about.
Absolutely. And instead of worrying, just be like, okay, well, that sucks. I'm going to allow myself a day or a couple hours or whatever it is that you need to like be sad about it. And then just try again.
Yeah. My motto is to typically take a day.
Same.
Of just, eat
take
potato
a day,
chips, sit
be
on the
sad,
couch.
cry on the couch, and continue. Yeah,
exactly. So we touched a little bit on movies as well too, just kind of like on those practical effects leading into that. What, like just for your own sake of enjoyment, for a multitude of different reasons, I'm sure, what is one movie that you keep rewatching?
The most recent Little Women.
Little Women?
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of that. Could you give me a quick synopsis?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
So Little Women is based on a novel that was written, I don't remember the years, but like somewhere before the 21st century.
Sure.
And it's about a family, a mom and her 4 daughters. The dad is off at war during this time, and they are in Britain, I think. So it actually just kind of explores the family's life and their relationships with each other, and how they stay together and pull apart depending on what's happening in their lifetime. So it follows them from when they're young girls to when they grow up and kind of start finding, like, and creating their own families. And there's nothing really dramatic. It's just mostly about their relationships. But it's a beautiful story because of that to me. And a lot of the stories at the time, when female characters were written, they were very stereotypical. This was a book that was written by a woman who had to publish under a man's name at the beginning. Louisa May Alcott is her name. And she wrote her characters very individualistic. So the main character, the perspective that it's from, is Jo March. And she is a tomboy in a lot of the ways. She doesn't really like to dress the same as her sisters, doesn't really like to participate in the feminine arts or any kind of thing like that. She kind of rejects it really hard, and never wants to get married. That's her thing. She never does. But at the end of the movie and at the end of the book, she does. Not because the author wanted her to, but because the publishers did. And so the author just wanted her to be single and a writer. And she had to write a marriage for her in order to appease the publishers.
Oh, man. You can definitely, there's a lot of conflict when it comes to that as well, too.
There is, yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's a good part of the story, too.
Well, and it in the most recent movie that it was done, they kind of reference that a little bit, because they show the character of Jo publishing a manuscript about her life and her sisters. And the publisher says, this is great, but this character has to get married, otherwise we're not publishing it. And so you see the character in this marriage, and then you see her book being told, and it shows that without actually like taking away the marriage story that was written. So I think that's really cool.
No, that's very interesting. And it's very focused on relationships as well, too. So I find that, I don't know what like label to place on it, but do you consider yourself like a naturalistic viewer or a realistic viewer? And does that influence your art?
I think I am. I wouldn't, maybe more realistic, in the sense that I take things as I see them. But that includes like the emotions and the relationships that I see, and how I interpret them. So yeah, I think it's like what I see and what I can grab from it is what I take, and I'm very much use that in my art, 100%.
No, that's great. That's great. What are 2 places that you want to go before you die? Not that it's coming anytime soon.
Well, hopefully not. Let's see. I would love to go to, I want to go to the Yukon really bad.
The Yukon?
Yeah. Just because it's, or even like the Northwest Territories, like just that area that sits there that I know nothing about. Like I live in this country, but I know nothing about. And I know that they just finished the highway to drive all the way up there now. Because my aunt and uncle used to work up there. So I could go there now. Like it's, you don't have to take a plane, you don't have to take a boat, you can get there.
You
and
can
it's
actually
just,
get there.
I feel like there's a lot of culture and history there that I know nothing about that I would love to learn. So I think it would be a beautiful place to visit. I think with the highway being developed as well too, we'll be able to see a lot more opportunity kind of to get and grow there as well too, which would be lovely.
That's interesting. I have a cousin that is actually thinking of moving up there as well too from Ontario. So just to
that
work
would be
and live.
Such a cool change, honestly.
Wow. From large forests and everything into basically tundra.
Which is such a landscape that, like, I mean, Canada's famous for it, but it's not something that most of us really know.
No, not at all.
So that's cool.
Like,
and then I think I'd like to go to Egypt also.
Egypt.
That's
a
there's just
one.
a lot of history there that I'd love to delve into and see. That's so opposite of like the more European history that I kind of know more of. It's just, it feels so different. And
so what do you get out of when you travel?
I think I'm an experience-based traveler. So because for me, there's a difference between a vacation and a trip.
Okay.
And so a vacation to me is like, okay, relaxation. So I would like all inclusive on a beach, reading a book, drinking some drinks, swimming in the ocean. That sounds lovely. That's a vacation.
That is a vacation.
But a trip is going to a place and experiencing it. So like, sometimes I'll go to places that my friends live. Like I had a friend that lived in Sweden for a while, so I went and visited him there. And he showed me around the stuff that he knew, but we also met his friends that are like have lived there their whole lives, and they showed me things that I wouldn't have gotten on like a tourist bus. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, like going places, walking the streets, talking to people, and seeing what that place is actually about.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I did a trip to Greece, and it was a mix between vacation days, and then there was actually a few days where we did the trip. You touched that you've been in Sweden as well too, so that's fantastic. I'm sure you've been to other places too. What would you say has been your most exciting adventure that you've been on?
I think honestly, the most exciting adventure I had ever been on was a marine biology trip I took to Mexico.
Wow.
It was a trip that was organized by my high school, McCoy, in the Hat. And our chemistry teacher would kind of do this every couple years. And so you live on a boat in Mexico for a week. It's like full on like bunk style. The stairs to get down into the base were like this steep, and everyone was scared of falling down them. But it was so cool because we ate local food. The guide that was our marine biologist, she was a marine biologist, but she also knew a lot about the stars. And so we'd go and sit in the middle of the ocean where you can see all of the stars. And she would like, we got to see Mars. There was supposed to be like a comet storm, and we never got to see that. And that was a little sad. But we also got to like snorkel every day. We hiked up a volcano. Swam with whale sharks, which was really freaking cool.
Wow. That is insane.
Yeah. So it's just like this. It was such a cool educational way of exploring this new place that I loved it. It was my first like solo thing too, with nobody. Like I had no friends or family on that trip. It was just me and some of my classmates.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And I guess probably planted those early seeds of experience-based trips, right? And
100%.
Kind of that desire and love for it. That is amazing. It gets me very excited for what we're about to do next as well too, because one of the favorite things about this project is that we get the chance to experience everything that you folks kind of bring to the table as well too. So I think I'm ready, and I think I've learned plenty about you. I'm excited to learn what you do as well too. Shut off some of the lights as we got a projector screen.
Awesome.
Ja-na-na-na. It's Clark and Perry
On the case.
Ja-na-na-na. Clark and Perry do what it takes. Ja-na-na-na. Clark and Perry investigate.
The activities and interests of local artists in the Windy City's finest throughout both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, Alberta. Available on TELUS Optic TV, On Demand, VidFlex, YouTube, and more for limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.
Ja-na-na-na.